What everyone is probably wanting to know, what is Apocalypse Rising 2 doing for the future? This is going to be the development update post. This is a document file. I will put all the links of the document file and the changelog in the description below of this video. Without further ado, we're going to get through all of this and what the future will look like for Apocalypse Rising 2. The development update post, what we have been working on / immediate plans for the future. For the first category, we have the tech debt and back-end work with the cool, Apocalypse Rising amend ship in the background. At the end of our winter holiday event, Hutch made a post in the DPI Discord touching on our plans regarding tech debt, anti-cheat updates, and how we plan on pivoting our priorities moving forward. Our plans involve being more hands-on with the anti-cheat updates, resolving various tech debt issues that were blocking anti-cheat updates, and coming up with ways to make cheating less of a forefront issue. And also, Bifron is being released as well. So with Bifron being released and also Hutch's anti-cheat, I don't know what they're going to do for that. I don't know if they're going to remove the anti-cheat or not, but with Bifron being added, cheaters are going to be non-existent, at least for as of now. In the post, Hutch used the projectile bullets update as an example of removing tech debt from the game. Our definition of tech debt is any feature or piece of code that adds more friction to the product than it resolves. In the case of bullets, they were far too expensive to be handled as hit scan, and they limited what we could balance when it came to the passing of gameplay. Sure, firearms work fine, but the negatives outweigh the positives, and we decided to address the issue by converting to projectile bullets, optimizing how bullets worked, and rebalancing firearms. Re-resolved tech debt. And basically this GIF here is projectile bullet debug lines with slowed travel time and increased gravity for demonstration. And to the next major piece of tech debt, the Infected. APOC 2 is a physically large game, and to fill the world out, we heavily rely on the Infected. This does come at a cost, and running the physics, AI, and networking for well over 100 Infected can get pretty taxing on the server. Our solution to this issue for quite a while was to offload the physics and animation work to the clients and have the server control the brain of the AI. This solution worked great when it came to scaling the amount of Infected we could run at any given time. For example, during the 2022 Halloween events, we were averaging 150 to 180 active Infected AI. The downsides to using this system included a number of sync issues, and it turned the Infected into something that could be exploited due to the client-controlled distributed physics system. And basically this picture above just shows the network debug system for showing network/physics ownership of the Infected AI. What we were left with was a piece of tech that has pros and cons. Keeping the system meant dealing with latency and data sync issues, and adding computationally expensive anti-cheat systems to it would have made it too expensive. I'm pretty sure I said that word right. Hopefully I did. Moving to a new system meant designing around latency, optimizing the performance of their physics system, and building a more secure network model with less opportunity for abuse/cheating. Our final decision was to scrap the distributed physics system for the Infected and have the server control both their brain and physics while the clients handled animation. After lots of physics tuning, stat balancing, and optimizing, we've been able to write a new AI system that performs as well as the old one, and without many of the previous system's downsides. While the Infected have been a large focus over the past 4 months of being the scene's work, they haven't been the sole focus. We've applied similar design philosophies to how characters/players are managed on the server, how loot and dropped items are handled, melee hit reg following the largely successful example of projectile firearms/bullets, and various replication/animation systems. This picture is a micro profiler snapshot showing compute times for parts of the Infected and character step functions. Most of these changes were made with the intent of modernizing and improving performance, but nothing was done without security in mind. Anti-cheat updates and changes are not something we like to publicly or openly detail, but they were not a secondary priority with any of the work we've been doing. With the changes we've made, we're expecting to see an improvement in performance for various anti-cheat systems, and we're overall in a much stronger position to make improvements to commonly exploited areas of Roblox Roblox games. Here is where we start to depart from the short-term /now and start to get into up-and-coming features now that bulk of our revision work has wrapped. We don't have release date windows for any of these features at the moment, and we will share that information as they reach a further state of completion. Directly combating exploits with anti-cheat systems isn't the only way to handle a cheating problem. Redesigning how parts of your game work and how people access your game can have as big of an impact as a good anti-cheat. Most of this redesign work gives us an opportunity to refresh parts of the game that haven't been touched up, even if they aren't gameplay critical systems. Now they're getting into the big league stuff now, which is very, very cool. But now we have the second category, and this is going to blow your mind. For the second category, we have the server browser /UI. Various UI systems will be getting a refresh, some of which haven't been touched up since 2017. The hotbar /stats, compass, and controls UI will all be getting a full refresh. We're combining the main menu and in-game menu into a single system, simplifying a huge amount of UI code in the process. We have plans to add a server browser, a proper landing page /screen for when you join, and updated private server configuration UI. So I'm guessing what this picture is basically representing is like, instead of like going on the front page of Roblox and pressing play and you just instantly get in a server, it's going to be kind of like Apocalypse Rising 1, where you basically press play on Apocalypse Rising 2 and then you find a server, I'm pretty sure. So Blue Ice is obviously working on a lot of things, putting everything in one. You basically have the featured store stuff here. You have the store here, the gun skins, and probably other, you know, outfits you can buy. You have the news and the changelog here, and then you have a cool background photo. Of course, they're probably gonna change this, I don't know, but and then you have everything on the top here: home, character, journal, skins, all that cool stuff, and also the settings. This is basically the early concept of the new main menu /lobby. It is subject to change. There's another picture here of recolored character creator UI to match with the new menu system design. So it's got a nice, you know, cool white, like the font is white, and then just the UI and everything looks really clean. And then we have this GIF here. Instead of, you know, clicking on a, you know, button here to go to, like, you know, your settings, character, servers, journal, whatever, it will actually animate itself, and it will do a cool little animation transition thing when you click on whatever you click on here. And it is basically a UI animation demo for page transitions for the unified menu system. And now what we have here is, this image was featured in Zack Attack's video of him talking about, you know, the future of AR2. But basically this picture is a mock-up of a UI refresh for the compass hotbar and player stat bars, which looks very clean and just fits the game perfectly. And then this picture represents what the stats for guns and all that cool stuff will look like in the future, which looks very, very clean. It looks very cool. And note that stats of the firearm in this example are changed to represent the full goal of the new UI. These stats are an example. A server browser? New private server UI? Yup. We can't promise a cheater-free experience no matter how good our anti-cheat gets, but we can change how people play so they're less likely to run into cheaters. We believe that a server browser and new private server modes are going to be a big step towards players having a more controlled and enjoyable experience. The server browser will allow us to display in-game which public and private servers are open for anyone to join, the kind of game mode, and their world region, all visible from the main menu. You'll be able to hop from server to server without ever having to leave the game. With the VIP server expansion, we'll be looking to add 2 new game modes, making 3 private server modes in total. Once released, players will have the following gameplay options when playing Apocalypse Rising 2. And these are going to be basically, you know, the servers and game modes. Public survival, the current main game. All of your unlocked cosmetics, saved items, and outfits live here. This progress will not transfer to other modes. When you press the play button to open AR2 and then hit play from the creator, this is the mode you'll enter. This is the traditional primary experience we'll curate. Private survival, exactly like the main game but without matchmaking, and on a new separate save. All private free roam servers will essentially function as a new game mode plus mode, with no matchmaking. The only players you'll encounter are the ones you join or invite into your session, allowing you to play completely solo or with just the people you'd like. Since progress is split from the main game and the rules/balance is the same, you'll also be able to take any gear you earn here into any other private survival server. I think making your own session and inviting your own friends just to play in a world, I think that's cool. I think that is an awesome thing instead of playing with, other random people. Now we have Private Sandbox, which is basically Apocalypse Rising private servers. The customization mode, where both of the free roam modes are gameplay locked. This one will allow you to customize the game and make it your own. You'll have a full permission system available to control various parts of how players work, friendly fire, stat speeds, spawns, etc. And how the world works, infected spawns, loot spawn rates, time of day, danger zones, and more. With the private sandbox mode, I have a little insider information for you all, just on for me. I am going to start an Apocalypse Rising 2 Hunger Games once the private sandbox mode gets released. I'm going to host Apocalypse Rising 2 Hunger Games for Robux. It'll probably be 500 Robux, 1,000 Robux, 5,000 Robux, 10,000 Robux. I don't know. But when private sandbox modes get released, a lot more fun will happen. Tourney mode. Team versus team, player versus player combat. This is the current private server system. We'll be looking to expand this more with maps, more game modes, and easier to use loadout UI. And this picture here is basically an early draft for the in-game server browser UI. This is basically what it will look like before you join a server. Those of you who have been following the game's future development know that we've been missing 3 main gameplay systems for quite some time now. The server browser, the full journal system, plus missions and base building. We've made the decision to prioritize the server browser over the journal and base building and attempt to provide a more diverse area to experience while other more gameplay rewarding features are developed. We still plan to do smaller content updates, balance changes, and possibly some holiday events throughout the year, but the next major update to Apocalypse Rising 2 will be the server browser. Following the server browser will be more information on how the journal, missions, and base building will be implemented. So all of this is huge information on what the game will look like by UI, and also private servers and whatnot will look awesome. And it's basically, Apocalypse Rising, but Apocalypse Rising 2. Now, what everyone has been wanting for the past 3 years. And this category is the new map and when it will be released. Game features are only a part of what we have planned in the long run. But what about the new map? As you might have gathered from the considerable amount of recent developer sneak peeks, the map is nearing completion. We estimate it to be about 90% complete, with only a couple of unfinished large locations and a handful of minor locations left to work on. And this picture basically shows the background of new NAS and what the military airfield will look like. And that looks like a AC-130 to me. It is complete enough to be playable, and we have recently hosted large closed doors server testing sessions to help us identify problem areas and optimize the map. We are very satisfied with the way the map looks, feels, and plays, and we can't wait to finally implement it into the game. Basically, the new trees, stamp made, and power lines, and a huge city. And literally, this new map is going to be 10 times better than the current map now. It's going to be a lot more realistic. The flow is going to be nice. You're actually going to be able to find players now instead of, spending 30 minutes trying to find a solo person. And everything will just be very awesome. Our goal has been to improve every aspect of the map. You can see this in the sneak peeks. The trees look tremendously better, i.e. no more PS1 graphics. The towns look more detailed and believable. The landscape is less generic and repetitive, and the world feels more alive. We're also taking extra care to improve player flow across the map, as well as the overall looting experience. And in this picture are some new assets. You have the AC-130 in the back. There's a trailer with logs in it. There's a sailboat. There's the swing keel boat with a cover on it. There's an RV, a trailer with kayaks, some construction vehicles, and just some other things that are in this picture as well. During development of the map, much thought has been put into making every area of the map unique. each region of the map should have a distinctive landscape, architecture, and vegetation. A variety of new map assets have been created to add detail, subject to change. And this picture basically is showing the new textures that they are also using for the new map. We are also in the process of upgrading many of our commonly used materials with more detailed PBR versions. When developing a map of this scale, you have to thread a fine line between detail and performance. There is no use in creating a beautiful map if most of your players do not have the hardware to run it. Apocalypse Rising 2 is already somewhat demanding compared to the average Roblox game. So many of you might be worried about the performance of the new map. And this is basically another picture of NAS and what it looks like. Of course, golf ball, as I like to call it, in the back there. ATC there, a water tower, and big hangar. Proper player flow has been a focus when working on the new map. All player spawns are placed on the western, southern, and eastern sides of the map. This makes the northern island the late game region, where you will be able to find most valuable and densely looted locations. So I'm guessing when they were developing the map, they've already thought this through, saying like, oh, they should actually work their way up to getting better loot. As it stands right now, the new map performs slightly worse in densely populated areas, mostly the major cities. We do not want to force a majority of our player base to suffer in performance, but fortunately, we have a solution: the implementation of new rendering technology. And this picture is basically, you know, new construction assets, which are not drivable, but they are very cool to look at, and I think they're cool as well. Specifically, we are referring to new Roblox rendering tech called content streaming, or just streaming, which significantly reduces the performance cost of loading/unloading 3D elements into the world. Our early benchmarks with streaming have been very promising, and we are confident that once implemented, it will considerably improve the performance of the new map, potentially even better than the current map. And this picture is a picture of Fairview. You have the trees here, you have a nice modern house here, and then you have the city side of Fairview. For this new map, terrain was designed in a fundamentally different way. Important locations and routes are often surrounded by hills and vegetation. This concealment makes the map feel bigger and makes for a more dynamic battlefield in a way that makes fights less likely to be ultimately decided by a long-range aim battle. We will continue to polish and flesh out the map while work is done for Apocalypse Rising 2 to use streaming. And once the implementation is complete, we will be releasing the map to public in a large game update. Just like our previous iterations of APOC 2's map, the new version will replace the current map. It is also our intention to continue supporting and improving upon this new map after it is released. We will be updating and revising this map far into the future. In the meantime, we are focused on making the map functionally complete, playable, balanced, and performant. While we have been historically unreliable when it comes to release dates, we can assure you that the new map will be released this year in 2023. And to give my things on it, I think that they're going to release this update on July 1st, 2023, which is their anniversary. Now we have some of the last categories here. In summary, for the last few months, we have been carefully addressing tech debt in order to best prepare Apocalypse Rising 2 for the large integrated systems and additions we have planned. This effort makes up the majority of the May 2023 update. While this work has been going on, we have been finalizing the new UI/server browser and putting the finishing touches on major areas of the new map. Many new map assets have been created that we showed off for the first time in this post. Now that the map is 90% complete, it's enough that we have begun closed doors server testing for performance and balance. As the next feature update, our immediate priority is to implement the long-awaited game server browser and VIP server survival plus sandbox modes. After that, we will implement Roblox's streaming service and finally release APOC 2's new handcrafted map that we have been working on for 2 years. Thank you everyone for your patience and continued support. Join the DPI Discord server for news and development leaks. I will link the Discord for the DPI server if you guys want more insider information on the new map or some new other things and whatnot, and when the updates get released. Now we have the bonus announcement. This is actually, I've never seen a bonus announcement in a post. We are in the process of converting and uploading a wide variety of APOC 2's vests/webbings and belts to the DPI store as UGC for your Roblox avatar. There are still a number of unreleased APOC 2 hats that we have plans to make available as well. However, since Roblox accessories do not allow transparent textures, for now we have held off on uploading a handful of hats with transparent visors, lenses, or glass. Hopefully we will have an opportunity to do so in the future. In any case, stay tuned for vests/webbings and belts to become available soon. Many outfits in APOC 2 UGC are already available on the DPI store. I will also link the DPI store if you guys want any, cosmetics from the game on your Roblox avatar. And I would say they are reasonably cheap. You have 50 Robux for the hats and stuff like that, and 5 Robux for, the clothing and stuff like that. But I appreciate everyone for watching, and hopefully you all made it to the video. Make sure to subscribe and do all that stuff, and stay tuned for when, more updates come. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Peace.